Recruiter here, the Headless Headhunter, to get you ahead of your job search by reviewing your resumes and giving job tips and tricks. The resume we have up first, the only note they stated to me was cooked. So I assume this person is getting absolutely no interviews, and this resume is beyond cooked. I did a meter read of this. It was pretty tough to get through. So let's see what's wrong with this full stack developer, why they're not getting any jobs or interviews and whatever that neither not getting any interviews. So what we're looking for is TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, Node, Angular, Next.js, MongoDB, SQL, React.js, API REST, Cloud, Agile, CI/CD, cross-functional, and bonus points for architecture, extra language, and Git. And the biggest problem with this is a formatting one, which is really shocking because most of the time, it's not just the formatting. Like, yes, I will harp on your formatting, but your bullet points are what actually mattered. And the bullet points were not terrible. The problem was this was so hard to read because of the formatting that I literally could only read this in the 20 seconds I had available to actually judge this resume. That's it. I was barely able to read 4 sentences, and in those 4 sentences, I did not find everything I needed. Primarily because of the formatting. I think I'm now looking at this again. I think I might have missed JavaScript and TypeScript because of this. So first off, your formatting is awful. And I want to do a side note. I think this person is applying in India. I am not an Indian recruiter. I have not recruited in India. I am a US based recruiter, not an Indian based recruiter. And I don't know the market over in India. I have to judge this with a lens of the US. So I hope this is at least accurate to the market of where you're applying. So let's first off, please, for the love of all the recruiting gods ever, use this formatting. This is a beast. This is a nightmare to read. This is easy. If you add this formatting, I'd probably go down to here. With your formatting, again, I went to here, and I know people insult me like, oh, he's a terrible tech recruiter. I'm actually really good at tech recruiting. I have to lower my tech recruiting knowledge for these to help you all. My tech recruiter kept going where like, no, I caught this and I caught that. I actually don't think somebody who's a trained tech recruiter would be able to catch as much as I even did, and even then it was tough. So I actually have to lower my tech knowledge for a lot of these reviews to make sure it's accurate to what I think the market is. And even with all that, I might have caught some stuff, but if your resume is only decipherable to somebody that is specialized in that field, it's a bad resume. So first off, formatting, like I said, use this, like all of the formatting. So first off, 1 column, no resume is improved by 2 columns, never, ever, ever. So in that case, you do want your bachelor's up at the top, or in this case, master's, not bachelor's, master's should be here. I don't need this. This can be safely deleted. This can be safely deleted. This might be okay at the bottom, which I don't think anybody can see. There's an achievements, but you can delete the coursework. So, for an associate software developer, nothing here should be bolded. This is why people are having problems reading, is the bolding. Because for one, you A, bolded everything incorrectly. B, when everything is bolded, it makes nothing bolded, and it's really difficult to read. It basically like puts out like a stop sign, because we have to speed through these, and you're slowing us down, but we still only have the same amount of time. So instead of being able to like look at what we have in 20 seconds, you just made it so we have less time to look at your resume. So nothing here should be bolded. Second, this is written weird. You want to say used React, Tailwind, Next.js to ship a modular dashboard for internal developers. I don't care about optimizing page time. I'm not hiring based on optimizing page time. If we are, it's not in the job description. And then this is not terrible. The problem is I only see JavaScript and TypeScript. So you need to redo the order of these. Normally, I'm not a stickler for order, but if you're a full stack dev, I really want to see TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML in the very first line. And that should start off to like the third word. So it should say like used TypeScript, Python, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. That should be like the very first thing. Second, I don't care about SEO unless you're doing front end. I know full stack includes front end, but the qualifications for a full stack dev, a front end dev, and a back end dev are different. I don't know why, but managers want different things when they're asking for that. And weirdly enough, when they're wanting full stack, they don't care about SEO because maybe they don't care about it. They already have somebody to do it. But when they want a front end dev, you do want SEO. In addition, again, I don't see JavaScript. Oh, there. She's so hard to read this. I don't see HTML and CSS. I see Tailwind, which again, I think does imply, but they may not know that, so don't do that. It should still say HTML and CSS. People are not asking for Tailwind, they're asking for CSS. But everybody keeps putting Tailwind instead for some weird reason. And then Redis cache, I don't think I care about that. I don't know what this is, and I don't care. Don't care. Don't care. Do care about Node.js and Docker. So your resume is chaotic. It has basically everything. It has what I would want for a back-end engineer, a front-end... Sorry, it has like 30% of what I want for a full-stack engineer, 30% of what I want for a back-end engineer, and 30% of what I want for a front-end developer. I'm aware how weird that sounds, but it's the case. You don't have what I'm looking for full stack. The qualifications are different, and you have everything here. And then you have RESTful. I didn't even get to RESTful APIs. That's actually really good. Or SQL, because I couldn't get to it in time. Or MongoDB, which is actually really what I'd be looking for. Yeah, there's so much here that I missed it all. So you fix your formatting. Fix your formatting, please. I don't want to reject you if I'm ever reviewing your resume. I actively want to get people forward. I don't take joy in rejecting people. It's the part of the job I don't like, but I have to do. Your resume is so incredibly chaotic that I couldn't even find what I was looking for. Here it is. It's all the way down here. Oh my goodness. No one's going to get that far. So fix your formatting for the love of everything. Then I want you to focus. If you're applying for full stack roles, good. If you're applying for back end roles, that's a separate resume. If you're applying for front end roles, that's a separate resume. I'm not telling you, I don't know why that is. It's really weird, right? Like, I fully agree with everybody here. It's absolutely bizarre. It's absolutely insane that a full stack software engineer has different qualifications than a back end software engineer and a front end software engineer. But it is the market, and it is what they're asking for. So those are 3 separate resumes. And if you want to make 3 separate resumes, that's fine. So, oh, there it is. There's AWS. Yeah, this is really good. This is actually some of the qualifications I'd really want. You buried him too far. In fact, I think if you got anything, it's because they actually got here. So, write this like you wrote this. This is actually where I'd want to see it. Yeah, this is really good. I mean, this should, again, be first with TypeScript. So, fix your bullet points and focus your resume. Full stack and front end and back end are different qualifications. I am right about that. You can argue with me and you're going to be wrong. I don't know why that's the case, but I do know that that is the case. So, if you have any questions, feel free to send them in the comments below. I'm happy to answer any questions. It usually takes me a day or 2 after the question is answered to do it, but I will answer your recruiting questions. If you need more help, you can stop by my live stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday at twitch.tv/headlesshunter, starting at 11 a.m. until whenever I can go, usually a couple of hours, 3, 4, 5, whatever. And like, comment, and subscribe, and let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a full stack software developer. A different one. There's a lot of full stack in this episode. There's also one not full stack. So, same qualifications. This person said they had a good ratio, but I don't know. Again, they might not be in the US, and I'm not outside the US recruiter. Different countries have different requirements on not just their roles and qualifications, but the culture and the laws and everything. So I just want to make sure everybody's aware. I am US based. I've gotten people jobs in Canada, UK, Australia and Africa so far. So the advice does translate, but I'm always afraid of giving bad advice. I don't like giving incorrect information. So does this person, first off, this resume is immediately better than the other one just because it's a single column. Never do double column. Never do double column resumes. So don't care about this. Don't care about this. This should not be bolded, but architected, always want to say architect. Architect is a great word. Managers love the word architected. And maintained a scalable backend using a self-hosted MongoDB. I think that's, yeah, MongoDB is a qualification. Design developed a full-fledged VS Vue, don't care. API is good, don't care. God, there's so much bolding on this one. It's like hurting my eyes. I wish you all would stop bolding everything. If your objective is to make your resume harder to read, you have succeeded. But if your objective is to make your resume easy to read so that I can actually find what I want in the amount of time I have, stop bolding everything. AWS, TypeScript. Oh, there, I almost missed JavaScript. I almost missed JavaScript because it wasn't bold. Stop bolding everything. I would have found it. So first off, this should be higher up. This should be higher up. I still would want something with, again, JavaScript, CSS. Oh, no, you have, please, HTML and CSS. So you have the qualifications. Your resume is just such a nightmare to read, with the exception of I don't see CSS and HTML. Yeah, so you just like had a great sentence, and then you just ruined it by 20% reduction in load, or leading a 65% increase in user engagement and satisfaction. Not every bullet point needs this. You need to tell me the reason you did it, or why you did it, or the results of it. But that doesn't have to be a percentage. You can just say, optimized our system used AWS to optimize our system performance, to reduce our load times and improve our scalability. That makes it easier to read than a 20%. A 20% immediately, like, I don't, is that seems bad. 20%, that's it, that's all you've done. Maybe that's impressive, I don't know, but it's not great, right? Because then you have 65% increase in user engagement, which, okay, if you're doing full stack, that could be good, but how did you measure that? And why not more than a 65%? And how much was that? Because again, 65% of 10 users engaged is different than 65% of 100,000 users. Yeah, so the rest of this is junk. So you need to shrink this. You need to focus it on what we're looking for. Some of these are actually okay bullet points, but the rest of them are nightmares. And stop bolding everything. Stop bolding everything. You're going to make me cry. Do you want to see a grown man cry? If you keep bolding everything, I'm going to. You're going to make a grown man cry. And not, stop bolding everything. Stop it. Let's go to the next resume. Is a resume of a customer success manager. What we're going to be looking for in a customer success manager is proven success in meeting goals, revenue book and retention, engagement, customer satisfaction, communicating to all, in this case that means like literally everybody from the CEO to the bottom of the company hierarchy, explaining technical stuff to stakeholders or customers, you know, both work. Although sometimes customers are stakeholders. Stakeholder is such a broad term. Solve problems in multitask, CRM tools and CS tools like HubSpot, cross-sell and upsell, industry. So again, different industries are going to have slightly different stuff. SaaS and global clients. So let's see if I can't find these in 20 seconds and go. Okay, not needed. Customers, onboarding, proving onboarding experience in client's line. That's okay. That's interesting. Unnecessary frame, but this is actually kind of solid. CS toolset, field loop support engineering, renewal process. No, I did not find enough to move them forward, but I don't think this is terrible. This person also said they were laid off from a Fortune 500 company before the end of their probation, which really stinks. Especially because, like, layoffs again imply no fault to the person. Remember, a layoff means you are not at fault. You did nothing wrong. That's what layoff means. Fired is you messed up. laid off is the company messed up. They're looking for jobs in customer success, onboarding, enablement, and account manager. So those are different jobs. You stated customer success manager. Customer success, onboarding, enablement, and account manager are slightly different. So I'm only judging it through this lens. And let's see what we can do. So first off, your formatting is slightly off. Again, this is okay to read, but it's a little difficult. And again, I don't need a summary. Nobody should put a... I hate the advent of summaries. Unless you are relocating, you are explaining a visa, or you are changing industries, and I mean like from becoming a nurse to a farmer, like that much of a difference, you don't need a summary. Summaries are not needed. They're just not. There's nothing here that I could use really to move you forward. I do get that it says B2B here and it says SaaS here, but the problem is since it's not under a job and you don't tell me how you did it and the reason or result that you did it, I can't move you forward. So this can be safely deleted. Do you have your education? Oh my gosh, yes, this is really good. This should be up at the top, although in this case, this should be one line. So again, it's going to look like this. So in one line, put it here. In the next line, again, put it there. But this is stuff you would want to put. So that's actually what they would like. Actually, I'm a little concerned that the MS in software engineering may be a little too much. So maybe they don't want that, but it does look like you've had enough other experience that it counts, and it's been a while ago. So, but then we get into the real problem with the meat and potatoes is you don't really tell me a ton of stuff, right? Like, not even counting the formatting here, it doesn't really describe stuff. And you've only been here for February, March, April, May, June, July, 5 months. Okay, you can keep that. But you don't tell me anything here, right? Like, how did you... So this is good. Hyperlinking is not working on this one. The last bullet point, this one, last one, it said led onboarding for a team of 3 new CS hires, built internal training deck, and conducted, everything should be past tense, weekly check-ins to accelerate ramp up. You know what? No, that still doesn't tell me anything. Conducted one-on-one customer success sessions and live onboarding webinars, improved onboarding experience, and helping clients align with platform best practices. Why? Why? What is the purpose of that? You have to tell me. I'm sure you covered that in your first day of the job, but you have to tell me the importance of that. Because I'm not sure how that translates to having success in meeting your goals or KPIs, how that worked with revenue book and retention. Again, I'm not saying the customer didn't like it, but you didn't say it improved retention. You said it improved onboarding. I don't think I'm asking for onboarding. I'm asking for retention. I'm asking for engagement, maybe, but is onboarding engagement? I don't know. You didn't tell me. And you didn't tell me why it's important. Did onboarding them make them satisfied? I don't know. You did not tell me. And then I don't see anything else. So your first 3 bullet points largely don't exist for what I'm looking for. Then we get to here, which is... Again, I'm highlighting the first one. I can't highlight on this very well, which is actually really good. I like own the end-to-end success journey for 50 plus. I don't know what SMB is. That's the problem is I don't know what SMB is, but I do know what SaaS is. I know what driving retention is, adoption maybe, and satisfaction I do in renewal process. This is a fire bullet point. I like this. Again, I'm not sure what SMB is, but regardless, the rest of it is fantastic. The problem is a lot of people would probably go through here, junk, don't care. Okay, I'm not going to go past it. But this alone has most of what I'd want. This first bullet point is what I'm looking for. Ticketed system. I don't care about the ticketing system. This part, though, the second one, which is reduced inbound support tickets by 35% because of a knowledge base, could be useful. Jira, toolset, Look, okay, mid. Yeah, so that, again, that's kind of the problem is you have a fire bullet point here and then nothing else. Because I don't know what you do. I don't know what industry you're in. Now, maybe if this flat out says customer success manager for Bob's Furniture Sales, I'd understand, but you don't tell me what industry you're in. I don't know. Were the clients global? Did you solve problems? It seems like you did some good stuff, but were they problems, or did you were just bored and you fixed them? And how did you explain technical stuff to stakeholders? So if you can look at this through the lens of somebody that doesn't know your job, you can start to see the flaws that are appearing. And this is part of the problem, is you wrote this both too broad and too technical. There is not a lot here. My dog just came in and sat under the bed for some reason. That's his favorite place, is to put his head under the bed. So I'm in the guest room. My office is the guest room. But yeah, you don't tell me what you do. You don't even show me what you do. I want to see that you show me. So I'm just missing this stuff, right? Like, did you use any CRM or CS tools? This, the retention, the book, the engagement, the customer satisfaction, again, a near perfect bullet point, but everything else is garbage. So I need you to write everything else like you wrote that singular bullet point, which is the first bullet point under this job, because that is a phenomenal bullet point. Everybody else can take notes. That's what you do. But the problem is the rest of this is garbage. And like you just don't tell me what you do. So I'm kind of rambling. Let's go to the next resume. This is a full stack software engineer. They entered their resume before and have now incorporated the changes you suggested. And I just wanted to know what else I can do. Please take a look at the entire resume and tell me what else I could do better. They are from India and they're doing a remote full-time job, which I haven't updated in this resume since it's only been a month. That's fair. So I don't know the market in India. The qualifications for a full stack dev may be different in India. That's just the nature of it, is different countries have different qualifications. So these are the qualifications for the US, and this is what I have to judge it in, since I can't speak the language and I can't read the job descriptions enough to tell what they're looking for and what is and is not important. So I wish I could. I wish I could speak other languages. That way I could help people in other languages. But so I don't know if I really have to repeat this. This is what we're looking for the 80th time. And this person, we don't know their ratio. So I will first do a little quick meet or eat to see if we're going to meet this person. So I'm going to put, oh, that is hard to read up there at the top. 20 seconds on the clock. Let's see if I can't find it, and go. Okay, architected, good. Full stack of blank, good, using Node, Next.js, PostSQL. Again, that's okay. Scaled, Docker, NGX, I don't care about that. Timeouts, microservices, I don't care about that. APIs, don't care about that. Well, I mean, I care about APIs, but I don't care about the Meta and TikTok and whatever. Azure, do care about in AWS. So no, this would not pass. At least in the US. Again, I don't know the qualifications for a full stack developer in India. And in fact, I assume since India is, very big, there would be different qualifications based on the individual countries or sections or towns or cities. I don't know the geography there. I know it's big. I know there's a lot. So I'm assuming there's going to be differences between those as well. But yeah, the problem here is where's the full stack? As a software developer, your very first sentence under your first job should 1,000% be your first stack, the languages you use. So in the case of a full stack for the US, it would be, I want to see within the first 10 words, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. I don't see that. And that is why this immediately is a problem. The second problem is your formatting is way off. Again, I want it to look like this. This is so hard to read. Can people read it through the red? No, okay, good. So hard to read with the bolding. Stop bolding it. I don't care about the YouTube shorts and stuff. You know what? I personally do. Lee, the person who is running a social media account, personally does care about this thing you did. I think that's neat. But if I was recruiting for a full stack software engineer, I don't really care so much about YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, unless you worked at them or the role required an integration with that. Secondly, Node.js is what I would be looking for. Again, Actually, wait, no. Node? Yeah, Node is good. Next is good. PostgreSQL, also good. The problem is, again, I need TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. Those should be your first things. Also, if you have Python, you can replace it with TypeScript. So it could be Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, or TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. And then I need to say in an Azure and AWS environment. This should not be down here. It should also be in your first one. That is your first. Every single software engineer, please take notes. Your very first, if you have cloud, should be tech stack, JavaScript, TypeScript, HTML, CSS in an AWS environment. That alone will get you interviews. I swear to you, it's the basics. I know you're smart. I know you're a genius. You got an 8.7 out of 10. You can code stuff that would make my eyes bleed. I can't write hello world. But the basics are what get you a job. The reason you don't want to put Tailwind is because people in 15 seconds may not know Tailwind equates to CSS. And it's possible the manager doesn't. And it's possible the manager doesn't even want CSS. They don't want Tailwind, they want CSS entirely. So you are doing what you think I want. You're like going to a date, and in the date's profile, they say they like, I don't know, sports. They like, what's a random thing that everybody knows? They like Pokemon. All right, let's just say Pokemon. Everybody knows Pokemon. They say they like Pokemon. So you show up to a date in an entire Pikachu outfit, and you give them 100 Pokemon cards and a dinner made into part of Pokemon. Like, it looks like Pikachu or whatever. And yeah, that shows you're way too much. When all they're looking for, and you go on the date, and then they're like, yeah, I saw like 3 episodes, and I think they're kind of cute. Pikachu is adorable. And that's it. And I've actually been on a date like that, where somebody, before I met my wife, where somebody mentioned Dungeons and Dragons, and I'm like, I love Dungeons and Dragons. And I launched this whole thing about Dungeons and Dragons. They're like, yeah, I only play like once every 2 years, and I just think it's neat, and I don't play a ton with it. And that's not what they were looking for. They weren't looking for all that. They were just looking for some basics. So I hope that metaphor made sense. I got distracted. I'm into Pathfinder now instead of the 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, but the metaphor still, I hopefully works. I'm not asking for integrated APIs from YouTube, TikTok, and Meta. I'm looking for APIs. I'm looking for Azure and AWS, not so much virtual machines or S3. If you were doing a backend role, sometimes they do want you to do little libraries. And I'm looking for this, but where's the basics, right? I need you to put TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, and HTML. You can't not do it. I understand how ridiculous it is. I understand that it is the equivalent of, I don't even know what the equivalent of, but the problem is this is the most common argument. I have gotten into this argument across multiple industries with multiple people, all about putting this in your resume. The basics get people jobs. At no point could I move you forward because you don't have this. And again, everything is bolded, so I may not get past it. So you want me to read the whole resume? The problem is I probably wouldn't. Most recruiters don't have the time to read your whole resume. Some managers do. So if you go down here, React is good, TypeScript is good. There it is. Tailwind CSS, but where's the HTML? Yeah, the problem is this is all the way down here, and they're probably not going to read it. I'm also missing, am I missing anything else? RESTful APIs, I think. Preferably RESTful APIs is what I'm missing. I would prefer that instead. I'm also missing for CI/CD. Let me see if I have that. No CI/CD. I'm missing that. Anything agile? No, missing agile and cross-functional. Yeah, so I'm also missing that. But again, you want me to read your whole resume, but the problem is most people don't have that time. I'm not, it's not a bit that we have like 20 seconds. It's really not. It's going to depend on the role. Like if you're searching for an accountant role, you can spend 2 minutes on a resume. If you're searching for a software engineer for a remote role, you are going to spend maybe 8 to 10 seconds max. I might actually give people more time than I would have otherwise. So I understand what you're saying. You're saying, look at my experience. Look at how amazing it is. But I wouldn't be able to tell. Bro, I can't code. I get coders jobs. I have I am good at my job. I have gotten, like, I've actually taught other recruiters how to recruit for tech, and the quality of the hires and the speed of the hires both increased after my training. I actually know how to recruit for tech, but I can't code. I've recruited for oleonucleotide scientists. I couldn't do that. In fact, I recruited for I had 3 oleonucleotide scientist positions. I recruited for 2 of them, and by the 3rd one in the meeting, I'm like, you know what, manager? I don't actually know what oleonucleotide is. What is that? And then they explained it to me. And I had already filled them faster than anybody else. You are trying to say, look how great I am by dressing up in a giant Pikachu outfit when I'm not that into it, bro. I just need the real basics. So I really, really want to impart this because I know you're trying to show how great you are, but you can't show how good you are from a resume. Resumes are garbage at it. So let's go to the next resume, which, spoiler, is also a full stack software engineer. This is a resume of a full stack software engineer, and spoiler, so is the next one. This is almost entirely full stack for some reason. I do other resumes besides tech. So this person is an F1 student, requires visa sponsorship is what they said. They have gotten a terrible ratio, which is understandable. Anytime you're on a visa, you got to triple the amount of applications. It's just that difficult to get one. That's why it always irks me when people say, like, oh, it's so easy to get it. It's like, not. Even when the market is good, it's a nightmare to get a job on a visa. So full stack, same as the last 20 that we've done. These are the qualifications. Let me see if I can at least find them to see if maybe it's the resume or if it is just in fact the visa status that is harming their chances. So away we go. All right, this is too long. Don't care. Opflow, Java, Spring Boot, and Hibernate. Okay, I mean, that's not terrible, but RESTful APIs. You said full stack, right? What? Angular, okay, SQL, okay, yeah, I mean, you did say full stack. You did, yeah, where's the full stack? So, if I was looking for a back-end Java engineer, these would be some of the stuff I'd want. I'd also want, I think, microservices, but this is not what I'd be looking for. Remember, these are not keywords. People assume these are keywords. They're like, oh, you're just looking for specific keywords to clue you in for quality. No, these come from up above. They come from the hiring manager. If you don't have these in the resume, the manager is the one who's not going to think you're qualified. And I don't see full stack at all. I see a little bit of back-end Java, which seems pretty okay, but not enough to move forward because I still need like microservices and maybe like Maven or something. And probably cloud, but I don't see that here. I don't see enough to move you forward. Where is your TypeScript? Where is your Python? Where is your JavaScript? Where is your HTML and your CSS? In fact, where is your AWS? You say AWS. Here, you have no AWS. This doesn't count. If it's here, it doesn't count. You cannot put a qualification here. Skills sections do not count. They do not count. They never count. Skills sections don't count. Please stop putting them there. You are hurting your chances. Yeah, you don't show the qualifications here. So developed and maintain workflow automation services for telecom operations. It's not worse, but I would just say, like, man, okay, using Java, Spring Boot, yeah, Hibernate, whatever. But, like, again, I don't care about 10,000 network ones. I do care about RESTful APIs. I don't care about 60% on-time completion rate. So even if you were not on a visa, which again is going to tank your chances, you're not meeting the minimum qualifications. This is what that means. These are not keywords. They don't exist. In fact, I'm probably going to go over that a lot in my next video, but keywords don't exist. Everybody assumes you put in keywords, oh, he's going to do that. They're keyword searching. They don't exist. Because we don't call these keywords, we call them qualifications. These are the required minimum qualifications. If you do not meet these, if you do not show these, you will not be moved forward. And again, they have to be here or under projects down here. That's fine too. But this can be deleted. This can be deleted. This can be deleted. And then you actually need to put in the qualifications because there's not much for me to move you forward with. How? You don't have it. I don't see AWS. I don't see TypeScript. I don't see Python. I don't see JavaScript. I don't see CSS. I don't see HTML. Did I see Node? I don't see Node. Angular, nope, don't see Angular. Next.js, nope. MongoDB, no. Already that's going to be a no. I don't see Agile. I don't see CI/CD. I do see Git, but again, you have the bonus points, but you can't, you know, it's like successfully completing extra credit on a test, which is worth 5 points, but not filling anything else out. You still get a 0. You still get a 5% out of 100. So you have the extra stuff I want, and SQL, which is good, and RESTful APIs. Oh, there's Angular, but oh, there's Agile. Okay, cool. But I still don't see, again, TypeScript, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. And again, maybe you don't have TypeScript and you can replace it with Java. That could be a case. I've seen that before. But if you're full stack and you don't show JavaScript, CSS, and HTML, you're going to get rejected. And I know it's not just me. I'm not saying it's just or right, but it's not just me. You don't meet this, you can't move forward. Oh, here's CI/CD. Yeah, no one's going to get all the way down there. No one's going to get all the way down there. So you need to rework this. Again, maybe if you want to do backend Java, that's fine, but you need to add more qualifications, because for backend Java, what I'd want is Java. Where did it go? Where did it go? I have a giant list of this, and it takes forever. Okay, there we go. For backend Java, you would want this. And I see some of this stuff. I think that's actually kind of okay. I would probably need some form of cloud. I will say if you're pure backend, like, you really do want to have some kind of cloud. But I don't know where that is. The only only cloud I saw is up here, and there's nowhere else. So your problem is it's too generalized, and you don't show the qualifications. So for Java, do this. For full stack, do this. And if you don't, that means you're showing you don't meet the minimum qualifications for the role, which is why we cannot move you forward. So let's go to the next resume. This is another full stack. Again, it's just everything is full stack. We had 5 out of the 6 resumes in this video were full stack. So what we're looking for is the same. Y'all can copy. You can see this. I don't need to repeat this. This person had a different resume that would get about 1 in 50 applications, but that was in 2023. In June, that's actually not terrible in 2023, is particularly because the market crashed for software engineers in late 2022, so you actually were able to get a position when the market was still pretty terrible for software engineers. I don't think it was as bad as now, but it was still very bad. And they begin working, starting to apply now to begin working at the start of 2026. So I will say you probably are too early to apply for jobs in 2026, unless it's an internship. Is this an internship? No, it's not. So you ideally, at least in the US, I know the UK and the EU are slightly different. You want about 3 months from start. If you can't start in 3 months from applying, probably shouldn't apply, because they may not move forward with you. There are obviously going to be some exceptions to that, but as a general rule of thumb, if you're not going to start within 3 months, probably shouldn't apply. Because that's usually the timeline. Because you do the interviews, you sign the offer, it takes like about a month, and then worse comes to worse, again, 2 weeks notice minimum, and then you start maybe a month and a half, but sometimes things can drag on, so maybe it's going to be 2.5 months before you start. But ideally, you don't. If a candidate said I couldn't start, like if I met it with a candidate now and said I couldn't start until January 2026, I'm not sure my managers would go through with it. That would be on a manager by manager basis. Now, I will say there is an exception to that, because no hiring really happens during November, December. So if you start in like December, they may push it to January. But anyway, so this person used to have a 1 in 50. Let's see what changed. All right, so Node.js, Express PostSQL, again, that's okay, but I want you to do your full stack first. RESTful API is okay, so it's okay, good. SQL, I forgot to do the timer, whatever. Jest, don't care about Jest. ChatGPT, Maybe. They may actually care about some AI. Python is good. Okay, but I don't see anything on the back end. Or front end, not back end. Not back end. Python back end. There it is. TypeScript, React, Node.js. Okay, so you want to know why your resume was really good in the first part? Is because you started with TypeScript, React, and Node. And not Node, Express, PostSQL, and whatever EJS is. Mocha, and then TypeScript, yeah. So, I mean, so you also said you wanted to apply for, like, C++ jobs. I'll be honest, I don't have the qualifications for those off the top of my head. I have for .NET, but not C++. Because C++ can be... The problem is, unless somebody's with me, there could be 1,000 different things, because you can do, like, embedded software engineers, you could do a billion things. So, the biggest problem I have with this is, again, it's... You imply that you've done the full stack. Right? You say full stack here. You say Node. You say Python. You say cross-functional, which is good. You say TypeScript. But I don't see JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. And the biggest rule I want you all to know is that if it is not on your resume, it does not exist. That is the rule. If it's not there, it doesn't exist. If you imply you've done something, cool, doesn't matter. You have to explicitly state it. If you don't, it doesn't count. And you have almost everything else I would want. If I cared more about TypeScript and maybe Python, or what else did you use? SQL, yeah. So I'm missing Cloud, although again, it's possible you haven't done Cloud. But you need to put JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. If it's not on your resume, it does not exist. That is not a software engineer rule. That is in every single industry rule. Accountants, nurses, although nurses don't have to worry about it because they're such a hot market. Marketing, recruiters, managers, project managers. If it's not on your resume, it doesn't exist. Number one rule, not on your resume, doesn't exist. Right now, I don't see the JavaScript, HTML, and CSS. I don't care how obvious it is to imply. The second you start sending those candidates on, the recruiter will get fired for sending the wrong ones. You cannot have it. The only time you could get away with it is if the manager themselves said, yeah, if they imply X or Y, that shows they implied, and I'm okay if they move them forward, even if we don't have them on the resume. Unless the manager is specifically okay with it, you can't do it. So I don't see the front end at all. I mean, UI, whatever, but UX is nice. But again, I don't see the front end. I don't see the front end. CI/CD is all the way down here. Again, that's not huge. Here, this is all the way at the bottom. You need it up here. I understand it's basic. I understand it's boring. The only thing I can say is that's tough. You need to show it. If you do not have it in your resume, it doesn't exist. That is number one rule. So that is it for this video. Thank you all for watching. If you need more help, stop by my live stream. I start at 11 a.m. every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and I go till whenever on twitch.tv/headlessheadhunter, PST, by the way, so 11 a.m. PST. I am located in California. And please like, comment, and subscribe. Ask me any questions, and I will be glad to answer them about recruitment or how to get a job, all that good stuff in the comments below. And until next time, I'm here to help you get ahead of your job search.